Hi, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Shauna, and today we are going to be talking about all the books that I've read in 2025 so far. Now, the first book of the year was Western Lane by Chetna Maru. This book is primarily about grief, where a mother has recently passed away and left 3 of her daughters and her husband dealing with the aftermath of the death and the loss. Now, this book is a sports fiction as it talks about squash and how it becomes a very big part of Gopi's life, who is one of the daughters. And as the story progresses, Gopi starts to realize that maybe this is not her passion. Maybe it is her father who is trying to unburden that grief and the loss that she is feeling and give her a new purpose so that she can redirect all her energy towards the sport. What I liked about the book was that a lot of the story is actually in the unsaid portions. Not everything is given to you on a silver platter, and you will have to do a bit of digging and deciphering, and there is a lot of focus on the emotional state of people, which I really enjoy reading. And there are these small commentaries about women trying to bring other women down and the kind of internalized misogyny that women are put through. Women themselves judge other women and give them unsolicited advice about parenting. These are some of the little bits that I liked. Now, what I didn't like was that it felt a little incomplete. Somewhere it felt like the writer was putting a bit more focus on the writing style rather than the actual plot of the story, which is why it felt incomplete. Book 2 of 2025 was Butter by Asako Yuzuki. This book is about a serial killer whose name is Kaji. She has been accused of conning and murdering a lot of wealthy men. And the other character who is the protagonist of the story is Rika. She is a journalist who has been really interested in the whole story of Kaji, and she wants to find out why she did what she did. Now, I say Kaji was accused because the court case is still ongoing and she is trying to prove to people that she is not guilty. And Rika basically wants to get to the bottom of it. Now, first of all, I think there was a marketing issue with this book where a lot of people got the idea that it is a mystery book. Now, there is an element of mystery, but I would not classify this book as a mystery. This book is more of a literary fiction and a feminist piece of literature. This book talks about a lot of women's issues. Kaji, the serial killer, does not actually fit into the beauty standards of the Japanese society. She is a healthy woman, and Rika thinks that kind of rage fueled her to do the murders, but at the same time Kaji is really trying to tell her that she did not murder these men. So that is kind of where the mystery part is. As I said, the main focus is mainly on those beauty standards in Japanese society and how women are mistreated there. My favorite part about this book was how these issues were discussed. There is also the topic of women in professional fields where they are expected to leave their jobs once they have a baby and they have to take care of them, and which is why they are not really taken seriously at their jobs, because people think that, well, she is going to get married, get pregnant and leave the job once she gets pregnant because her destiny is basically to be a mother. And there is also talk of the whole women having to be domestic and having to cook. This book was going really well until like page 400, and after that it got really slow, and I think the last 100 pages were really unnecessary. The book should have ended at around page 400, and then it would have been a 5-star read for me because I really liked the discussion of the women's issues. Book 3 was The Heart Asks Pleasure First by Karuna Izara Parikh. This book is about two characters, Daya and Aftab. Daya is an Indian who has moved to Great Britain, and Aftab is a Pakistani man who has moved to Great Britain as well. The both of them meet, and there is this inter-religious love story. They both know they can't be together, well, mainly Aftab, but they still yearn to be together. There is this whole discussion about how religion has been tainted basically by human beings, where we try to make new meanings out of the religious scriptures just to serve a purpose, and how that was not really the intention behind religion. Religion has become very organized, and instead of it being based on faith, it has become a group versus group kind of thing. One of the main turning points in this book is the whole 9/11 incident and how Muslim people had to deal with the aftermath of that terrorist attack. Now, what I liked about this book is that it tries to deviate us from these long standing beliefs that we have about religion. It also gives you new political views about some of this 9/11 conversation. What I did not like about the book was the relationship between Daya and Aftab was not well executed. I think we needed a little bit more of some intimate moments between them where we could feel the love between them, but it just came across as a really bad situationship for me. So yeah, this book did not work out in that aspect. Now, book 4 was one of my favorite reads of 2025 so far, and it is Headshot by Rita Bullwinkle. This one actually surprised me a lot because it is a sports fiction, and I don't really read a lot of sports fiction. Chetna Maru's Western Lane was my first sports fiction, and this is my second, but this one just blew me away. This book is about a boxing tournament going on where 8 female boxers are fighting against each other to get to the top. At first, the book might seem a little confusing because the author basically gives us what is going on inside the characters' heads, and it feels a little disjointed, but as you move on, you understand that everything the writer has been written with some purpose, and you start to connect the dots as you go on, and it becomes a very thrilling read. This book talks a lot about the psychological aspects and how you become the person that you have been through. Everyone has their traumas, everyone has this happy memories with them which makes them who they are, and this book is basically about that. And because of the way it is written, it is very, very fast paced and you just can't put it down. And the last page was so good that it just became an instant 5-star read for me. Now, book 4 of the year was Waiting for Father by Aftab Yusuf Sheikh. Now, this is a very thin book, but it packs a punch. If you are someone who likes reading R.K. Narayan books, this is definitely the one for you. Just pick it up, go through it because it's so small. As you can tell, fatherhood is a big topic in this book. This book follows this little boy Shams and his relationship with his father. I don't want to say a lot about the book because I will give away the entire plot. It's just 80 pages. So just go and read it. It is really, really good. Then I read Beloved by Toni Morrison. This was my first Toni Morrison and it did not disappoint. This book is about this character Sethe, who had been sold into slavery where she met her husband and gave birth to children and also ran away from that farm, and sometime later she murdered her own daughter so that she would not be sold into slavery. This book is extremely haunting and it talks a lot about the trauma of slavery. I love how the writer puts forward the way Sethe has been haunted by the death of her daughter, and she's also trying to build a relationship with her other daughter but is failing to do so because of the trauma that she carries with her. And I loved how all these different characters who were somehow affected by slavery are shown to go through different phases of their lives and deal with this trauma very, very differently. This book is extremely raw and passionate and the prose is so beautiful, and I will definitely be checking out more of Toni Morrison's work. Then my last book of March was The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Now this book follows our main character Young Hai. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I googled it and that is how they said it is supposed to be pronounced. But anyway, it follows the character who turns vegetarian all of a sudden. She sees this dream and decides that she does not want to consume meat anymore, and that spirals into a series of really bizarre events. Her family tries to force her to eat meat, her husband divorces her, and a lot of crazy weird things happen in this book. But I think you really have to set aside whatever is said so explicitly and try to see the hidden meanings behind it to really like this book, or else you won't. It is about female rage, and I picked this up during Women's History Month and I think that was the perfect choice. Now you will think that what a silly premise for a story, just a person wanting to be vegetarian, but it's not that. this whole turning vegetarian thing has a deeper meaning behind it, and it talks about how she rebels against what is the norm. After this book, I went into a big reading slump. I picked up a few books, put them down, but now I am again getting back into reading. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm still not very comfortable sitting down and talking directly to a camera, but I really like sharing what I have read and hearing from you guys. So let me know how many books you have read in the first quarter of the year. And if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.